He's one of America's best-known actors and was nominated for an Academy Award in 1978 for his role as a Vietnam veteran in Coming Home. And also one of Alfred Hitchcock's favorite actors. We're pleased to be joined this morning by Bruce Dern, who's starring in a brand new movie, a romantic comedy called The Golden Boy, starring also David Carradine, Rip Torn, Merrill Hemingway, and Charles Durning. Bruce, thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, you're welcome. It's nice to join you. It's nice to join a guy that actually scored in the Super Bowl.
Well, thanks very much. I'm glad. Well, it makes me happy to know that you would know that I'd done that in the past. Hey, we'll get to the movie in just a second. I just talked to David Carradine. He's excited about Golden Boys and the opening this weekend here in Boca Raton. But in your past, there was one movie that I've watched over and over again. Called The Cowboys, and one of two movies that John Wayne actually died in, and you got to shoot him. Is that one of the roles when you look back in your career and say, it's a part of cinematic history that I played a large role in?
I was just beginning to emerge as somewhat of a more than the ninth cowboy on the right. And it's the first time that I'd just done a movie called Silent Running, which was a kind of a new beginning for me as a potential to be a leading man in the business, so to speak. But I was a good guy, and I won one. And then I got this chance to be in the Cowboys. And the morning that we had the scene where I had to shoot him, he'd never been killed in a movie at that point blank range. No one ever took a gun and shot him, and I shot him in the back before he turned around, and then I shot two more in his chest.
Right.
And he leaned into me. He was completely polluted at 8:30 in the morning. He'd never had bullet hits before. He'd never had where they put the little things on you so your shirt explodes. So
right.
It looks like you're taking bullets. And he'd just done the huge Playboy interview, the interview, I think he's the only man to ever be on the cover of Playboy. Mm-hmm. And he'd done this long 14-page interview where he just ripped everybody in America who didn't live on Balboa Island, which is where he lived with his yacht and his other friends. And he was a fabulous guy, but he just had done this interview where he brought kind of everybody down. And he leaned into me and he said, "Oh, how they're gonna hate you for this." And I said, "Maybe, but in Berkeley, I'm a hero." He laughed out loud and he said, "This is why this guy is in this movie, because he understands that bad guys should be funny." And we got on terrifically. And one thing about that group of movie stars, we've endured and we understood a bunch of the guys in my age group that it was all about the enduring. And when we came to Hollywood as actors, I started with Mr. Kazan, and I went to New York first, and then I came out to California. And we always understood that it was like a marathon. In the marathon, nobody even thinks about racing until you've done 16, 17 miles.
Right.
And we understood the same thing about Hollywood. And these guys, these older, bigger-than-life movie stars, real legends. People say, well, now you're a legend. We're not legends. The only guy close to a legend in our age group is Clinton. That's because he looks good on a horse.
Right.
The rest of us are just, struggling along. We came to be better actors.
Right.
Now it seems they come to get a star on the boulevard or go to the party.
Right, and get the big paycheck at the end of the week.
Yeah, it's not the same. And the good thing about, John Wayne or Robert Mitchum or Gregory Peck or the guys that we were lucky enough to get to work with, they encouraged us to push the envelope every single day, every single scene. He told me at the beginning of the movie, he said, "I want you to kick my butt every single day and never let up. And make these little kids terrified of you and never let them up."
Right.
So I just took that as open season on going nuts. So I did. And it was terrific for my career. And I think, oddly enough, in the Golden Boys, we have Rip, who got the same kind of information when he started early in his career from the men that he worked with that were older, and David Carradine the same way, starting with his own dad. And so we were all, when they put us together last year on the Golden Boys, and with Marielle also, who lived with a few feisty people in her life, we all were told early on, push, 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 walk out on the edge, take a chance, take risks, and try and get better. And I've done the same thing with my daughter Laura. I've encouraged her always to take the riskier roles, to take chances and go places where other people won't go.
Is that the key to being a good actor? I mean, I see that you've been good friends with Jack Nicholson for a very long time, and he certainly has been on the edge for his entire career.
We started that way. I mean, when you're told enough times, it's not a whole lot different than when you were coming up as a football player. I mean, you weren't the biggest guy in the world, and you weren't, you didn't have the speed of Mercury, or you didn't have Warfield's different kind of gifts. I mean, the man could log jump out of the pit when he was at Ohio State. And you were on a team or followed those guys, I guess, a little bit.
Right.
And they had certain gifts. Well, we weren't blessed with the Warren Beatty looks or the Robert Redford stuff or the Newman and McQueen. I mean, we were younger than they were, but the rest of us in Newman and Redford and all, they were the good-looking, conventional Hollywood young men. So we always felt that it was our job to try and be the best actors we could possibly be, and not forget that there was something in us that could be unique. My problem was, after killing John Wayne and the Cowboys, my agent and everybody else around me said, "Now, God, you can't do anything like that again. My God, you'll never recover from that."
Right.
And John Frankenheimer then says, "Come on, do Black Sunday. It's a great role. You're the only guy that can play Dr. Death in the world." So I took a part where I took the Goodyear blimp and tried to blow up the Super Bowl.
Did you get fans who were mad at you for shooting John Wayne?
To this day, if I get more and more rural in the places that I go to, a diner or into a bar somewhere, I'm not a drinker, but if I go into a bar, there's inevitably a guy who will come up and tell me that I killed his buddy. And I have to explain to him, no, cancer killed his buddy, and it was only a movie.
That's right. Hey, let's get back to the Golden Boys in the few seconds we have left. A romantic comedy that is described as wholesome entertainment for adults. Was it fun making the movie, and what do you think of it?
Yeah, it was fun. The problem was we shot it in Chatham out on Cape Cod in March and April, and everyone's down where you are in Boca Raton in March and April so there was no one there. And it was the year the Red Sox got Daisuke, and nobody spoke Japanese, and nobody knew if he was going to be any good or if he could strike people out.
Right.
The season hadn't started yet. So there was nobody around, which was nice to get around to the different locations we shot at. It was cold, but it was really fun because I've known Rip a long time. Rip was in that Sweet Bird of Youth with me, so he was there in my beginning weeks in the business. And David I'd known a long time. Marielle I'd known a long time. The one thing about movies, just like football, it's all about, there's no I in the word team. And movies are all about teamwork. You're only as good as the rest of the actors together. If somebody tries to run away and steal a movie or something like that, it's going to be terrible.
Hey, Bruce, thanks so much for joining us. The name of the movie is The Golden Boys, and it's going to open exclusively at the Regal Shadowwood 16 Theater in Boca Raton this Friday, October 31st.
And one last thing about it that's really good is it's the kind of a movie that everybody in the family can go see from 6 to 86. And it's a kind of movie that can send a message to Hollywood. There's still a chance to make movies that are fun with laughs and have something to say. And Hollywood just doesn't touch them. They don't touch westerns either. What's the last western you saw?
Absolutely correct.
And so it's really good. And to talk to a guy who actually did it. We're just actors, but Jimmy Cefalo did it.
Well,
and, that's really a thrill for me.
Well, Bruce, a thrill for me to talk to you. Thanks so much, and we look forward to seeing the Golden Boys. I'm going to get up to Boca to see it.
Okay, Jim.